Hey, good morning, everyone. Let me make sure my levels and stuff are all right. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can hear the music and stuff too, if you can. Okay. What do I need to do? I think I need to make a quick announcement. I always forget that. So let me do that and then we'll get started. How's everyone's week been? Make sure that's the right link. I believe it is. Okay. Cool. Oh, good. Thank you. Delta Frost, Jaradale, Gastonia, Merrick. Hey, welcome everybody. Good evening for you guys. Okay. T-Rex, hey, how's it going? All right, so we're going to be working on some sketches today for behavior, but what I want to do first, because I think it'll help me a lot, is I'm going to rig this mesh. This is the concept mesh for the Draco. It's not like fully sculpted or anything. We still need to do that, but this is just going to help me. I can do poses and I can get my camera angle and stuff like that in here, and then I think it'll just help me go through these sketches a lot more quickly since I have like a 3D base to work from. So I'm gonna do that. And we'll just hang out today and do some sketching / posing. Kind of play around with the poses too, and like we can see what possibilities there are for things. It's kind of fun. I do this workflow a lot for like the studio job I have. I do this a lot for the illustration, at least in part, because it just speeds stuff along much more. Yeah, you get like a lot of stuff, a lot of information out of the models. I mean, of course, you have to make the model, which can take a while, but once you have the model, you can use it to inform a lot of other things. Hey, Smogsy, how's it going? Okay, so we got the tail. Parent it. Actually, I think I don't need this bone. I can do this. Delete the bone. This is the whole hip. here. This will be the base of the tail. Just ended your own live stream. Oh, I didn't know you live streamed, Smugsy. I would have tried to join in. What were you working on? Was it Echo stuff or was it your own stuff? Yeah, I'm down to support anyone else who's live streaming. I think it's fun. Playing some Darksiders. We're Darksiders. Okay. Which just the regular Darksiders? Just Darksiders 1? I played 1 and 2. Did not get around to playing any of the others. In time for the rigging part. This is my like rudimentary rig. This is just stuff I do to get poses. It's not anything fancy really. I'm not a very advanced rigger, although I am planning to learn more soon. I would like to learn more. A friend gave me a ton of recommendations for tutorials and stuff to get a little bit more control and stuff over my rigs. So I think I might try doing... I don't plan on being like... The goal is not to be like a professional animator or anything by any stretch. But I would just like to be able to get to do like a little bit of animation for myself. You know, like simple stuff like walk cycles and run cycles and stuff, just to make my presentations a little bit more interesting for my personal stuff, portfolio stuff. I don't think I will ever be I don't think I have enough patience to be a full-time animator. Oh, never played through War Story. Oh, funny. I actually worked with a concept artist for a while who worked at Vigil. He worked on Darksiders 2. He was a concept artist on Darksiders 2. His name was Rafe Beisner, and I actually had to learn to mimic. I had to learn to basically do the Darksiders style, the Joe Mad sort of comic book style. It's really fun. I really like it. It was like, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to adapt to the style or not. But it wasn't too bad. You really want to try it? I mean, maybe we do a collab or something. I get a mesh and a rig out to you, and you try some animations. I'd be down for that. Hey Fox, how's it going? I lost my job, so I get more time. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Kivarsha. I hope you find something bigger and better soon. That's not fun. Okay, let's see. Make sure everything's parented to the right bones. I'm not... Normally I'd be a lot better about naming stuff, but this is just going to be a... I mean, I can probably reuse this rig later on for like the actual mesh, because we have done like... We've done for like promo images, we've done some posing, and should probably play around more with that, because there's a lot of cool scenarios you can come up with just like posing these guys together and like playing with lighting and things like that. So that's a thing I need to keep in mind. Why does it keep disappearing? Keep offset, please. There we go. Okay. I got the jaw. Got the cranium. Paisy from Finland. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I need to... So one thing I've kind of... There's a few things I've figured out when rigging, at least, you know, the way I rig, when rigging theropods, mostly theropods, it applies to some others, but it really helps to put a bone, like I try to follow the skeleton. Like I literally think of the skeleton when I'm making the armature. So it helps to put these bones here, the pubis and the ischium. It helps. I feel like it helps with deformation, because it keeps this leg here, the humerus. This bone tends to weight itself to the surrounding area. So when you move this bone, it'll like wiggle the rib cage. It'll like mess around with the base of the tail, and you don't want that. So I tend to put these bones in, so that way it kind of anchors things. And it gives me a little bit more, I feel like it gives me more realistic results when I move stuff. I know it's not like 100% necessary to keep your bones like in the structure of an actual skeleton. I've seen other rigs that kind of don't really worry about that too much, but for me it helps. You were taught to use floating bones to help with the integrity of the rig. Okay, nice. So that's what they would refer to them as, floating bones. Yeah, it's interesting to learn about that. Like I'm curious to know like how rigging is more formally taught. Because there's probably some stuff that I'm totally missing, but it's kind of the same way I learned Photoshop, like kind of like this. Like I didn't really learn any Photoshop when I went to college. All of my Photoshop was learned, like my digital painting stuff was learned really early, actually, before I went to college. So by the time I got there, I was kind of surprised to learn that they didn't really teach digital painting until much later. Like people weren't learning how to use Photoshop until like junior, even senior year. But yeah, it was interesting how they were teaching it versus how I learned it. Just like messing around basically on my own. I got to skip a few classes actually because of that, which is, I guess that's a good thing. I probably would have been pretty bored in there anyway. Let's see. Doing good, trying to beat Pokemon game with hardcore rules, Nuzlocke rules. So what? So I've been seeing this word a lot, and I feel like I should know what it is, but I don't know what it is. What is Nuzlocke? Like what? It's like it's basically setting limitations for yourself. But what is? I don't know what Nuzlocke means. I guess like the origin of it. Unofficial challenge. Okay. Because for a second there, I thought Nuzlocke was like a name of a Pokemon. I was like, who is Nuzlocke? There's so many Pokemon that I have no, like I really have not kept up with Pokemon at all. So like there's a ton of Pokemon I just have never seen. I've been seeing people play well, they're talking about the new generation of Pokemon and the new games coming out. And then there's the Pokopia game that people are playing. And I've been seeing lots of new Pokemon pop up in those games. You can only capture one Pokemon per new area. Once a Pokemon faints, they die, and you have to release them. Oh, okay, so it's like permadeath. Ashley Austin. Thank you. Kata Kimchi, have you heard of the Piximon ripoff? Piximon ripoff? No, I don't think so. Okay, I think this is... What else do I need here? I might need something to I'll just add it in just to make sure there is some support there. This little this thing, the dewlap, can maybe subdivide this too to get a little bit of movement. That could work. Or maybe it's better to go like this. maybe like this. Parent these to the jaw. Okay. I don't think I'll just add it just in case. I don't think I'm going to get into enough detail to move around the tongue, but we'll see. It's a very fun game. You can fuse any two Pokemon together. So many combinations and cool designs for their sprites. Oh, nice. That sounds pretty interesting. It's been a very long time since I played a Pokemon game. I actually would be interested in playing the, what is it, Wind and Waves? It looks cool. The only thing is I'd have to get a Switch 2, and I'm not super interested in getting a new console. I barely play my PS5. There's like a lot of games that have come out in the past few weeks. There's like Resident Evil. We had, I mean, I was looking forward to Monster Hunter Stories 3, which I still have not gotten. And then there's Crimson Deserts. So it seems like this early part of this year is like pretty heavy with some good games. Probably too many games to like to try to play all at the same time. I have to pick one. I think I am going to check out. I do want to play Monster Hunter Stories. I think I might get that either later today or tomorrow. Would be nice. It seems like a pretty. I mean, it's like a creature like collector, which I'm pretty into. Should be pretty chill to play. I'm just saving this stuff out really quick. I'll swap the screen back in a second. So we can rig this. I mean, we can actually weight paint this, I guess, now. Okay. Select the mesh, select the rig. Just do automatic. Bone heat weight failed to find. Of course it did. So what's the hack for this? Usually, let me see. How big is this guy? I think he's actually properly scaled to or no, he's a little small. Let's increase his scale. We have to scale them up. And then try the automatic weights again. Sometimes it does this. Just gets mad that there's so many meshes interlocking, even though there's not really that many. But it gets confused. It's probably an issue with the teeth because they're jammed into the jaw. Let's see if it does it. Okay, I think that worked. Unless the notification popped up and I didn't see it. Let's check out this movement here. Active. Just going through, and it doesn't need to be perfect. But it needs to be good enough that I'm getting decent shapes, you know, out of the body. So I can sketch over. So I'd like to do just a quick test of like a little bit extreme. Doesn't really, the pose doesn't really make sense at all, but it's just testing how everything deforms. There's a little tooth hanging out there that didn't get weighted. Ooh, that neck actually bends pretty well. This moves. Yeah, I don't know if that was the best decision. Maybe I should have done it the other way. Jaw open. I need to, let's change this. Change the viewport display option. Sticks are a little bit easier to deal with since they don't block the mesh as badly. We got the tongue. See how the arms work. There's a little bit of grabbing right here. Sometimes I also include a bone or two here at the base that act as the, what do they call them? The gastralia. Because this whole thing would be a little bit more rigid. It definitely would not be moving like that. I don't think it's too bad that I need to go and correct it right now. Sometimes it really gets bad, especially with like this guy's better off because he's got longer arms. But if this was like a Tyrannosaur or something, usually this part of the body gets weighted much more heavily, and yeah, I usually have to paint that. I have to weight paint that out. We're not gonna do anything this extreme. That looks like kind of like a death pose. You see that in fossils a lot. Okay, I think that's decent enough. I mean, this is annoying. These little teeth hanging out here. Where are those? Let's see where these actually go. Where do these go? Those are... they're part of the upper teeth. So let's check out... it's the last one and this first one here. Which bone is this? Bone 12. Okay. Go into edit mode. Edit mode. Go into edit mode. We need to highlight, need to select these teeth. And then gotta find bone 12. And then remove that from the bone. Or maybe, wait, did I do that right? Give me a second. I might have removed it from the wrong bone. Let me see. What bone is this? This is bone 12. So it needs to be parented to that bone. It needs to be removed from... Is this bone influencing it? No. So it's not parented to anything, I guess. Or weighted to anything. So we actually need to assign it to bone 12. And now if we go into pose, yeah, there we go. One thing that might be a problem, see how the cheek moves? That might be too much influence there. So I gotta paint that out. So I'm here. So this stuff, weight painting is also something I need to get better at. What weight paint am I viewing here? This is the skull. Okay. So I don't want this cheekbone to move, because in reality there's no way it would flex. I don't think this area would flex much either. Just soften it a little bit though. Yeah, Cryolophosaurus, Dilophosaurus, Dracovenator, they're all basically gigantic coelophysids. Coelophysoids, I don't know what the correct term is, but they're big cousins of coelophysis. And then eventually we get into the family tree grows and we get into Abelisaurids, Ceratosaurids. But the early guys do resemble each other pretty closely. It's one of the reasons why for beasts of the Mesozoic, when we did the Dilophosaurus for that figure, we were able to swap in the Cryolophosaurus head on the Dilophos body, because they're very similar. Let's see. Let's test it out now. Do I need to do anything else? I should probably make this a little stronger. because this is a little bit, the gradient here is not great. Just blend this out a little bit. And we'll test out the motion here. Pose. Let's check this out. That's better. It's a little bit better. Normally I don't close the mouth like fully either. Like this is probably a little bit too far. I think leaving the mouth slightly open just looks cooler. That stretch is not great though. I don't like that. We'll try and reduce that a little bit. Wait, am I doing this right? Yeah. Dashing Dino, how's it going? Oh, Kivash, thank you. Yeah, I mean it's really good that you know, try and make the situation positive. Learn as much as you can with the time that you have. If there, I mean, if I can help in any way, let me know. I can try to share any knowledge that might help you. Maybe I'm doing this the wrong way. Let's see. I don't think I'm gonna open his mouth this far anyway, but just to kind of help it look a little bit better. I wonder why it's still pulling that so far down. Maybe it's not, maybe the weight is coming from something else. Yeah, it's the tongue. Yeah, what a sneaky. So it wasn't the jaw at all. That's the thing about weight painting that I really like. I really don't like. I mean, is there like sneak in the rig that can start influencing stuff that you like really don't want it to? So you really have to check everything, because sometimes you like I would not have thought that this bone would be close enough to grab anything up there, because it's just from prior experience, but you never know what it'll do. And I got to be careful that I'm not screwing. I still want the tongue to function, you know, properly. The I believe that the weight painting is based on the geometry. So like you can't weight paint faces, you can only weight paint points. So if your geometry is low, like super low, the weight painting can be just kind of chunky looking, not very like specific. It kind of sucks sometimes. Dino Smilus, what'll be the special attribute / attack of Draco? I'm not sure if I know that info. I know he has a flesh tear, like I don't know if that's like more like a passive or if that's like an ability that you actually have to like a move or something you have to do, right? Yeah, that's probably more a Furious question. I don't want to like say stuff and not really be well informed about it. Flesh tear. Okay, so it is like an ability that he has that you have to do, enter a command to do. Okay. Okay. I think that looks better. Like I said, I'm not gonna open his mouth that big. So we probably won't need to worry about it at all anyway, but let me see. This probably got a little bit out of hand. I need it to actually be a little bit more gradual here. So that way it doesn't clip into itself. Take this down, very low weight. Paint in a few strokes here. Just to soften. And we'll blur it a little bit. Let's see if that works. I wish you could go, I wonder if you can, if you could go directly from weight paint mode to posing. I kind of don't like having to go between object mode to get into posing. I should probably look that up. This transition here, just soften it just a little bit more. Dashing Dino, I've made him anim for a model, but I don't know how to revert the model back to T-pose. Any tips to help? You can probably just clear the pose I don't know if you need the animation to like, do you need it to like actually animate into T-pose, or are you just looking to kind of reset the model to default? Because resetting it to default is really easy. You just clear the transformations on everything. If you were doing something more subtle, I'm not sure if I can help you there. Like I said, I'm super rudimentary when it comes to animation. And then the other thing is like doing both sides. My friend told me about a way to transfer the weight paints more quickly from one side to another, so it's like more perfectly symmetrical. But I haven't really done that yet. I need to ask him again to refresh my memory about how to do that. I think this is fine. It's like we're not going to use this as a final pose or anything anyway. So I think this is fine for what we need it for, and we can start playing around with. I did start like a basic sketch last time. I think we're gonna do something similar. We're gonna do the echo location sort of pose. Let me save this, and then we'll do some sketching. Hopefully, I can get to that. Yeah, if you just want to reset it, you can just select the whole rig, and then go to pose, clear transform, and clear all of it, and it'll reset it to default. So okay, let's start posing. We were thinking about where he's like searching. He's searching for prey, right? And he's using his echo ability to find them. Did I not parent I didn't parent the legs to the hips. That's not good. That's better. Okay. Alt G R also work. Cool. So I'm gonna have him like tilted upward, like he's like standing pretty tall. And then he's going to be looking around for whatever it is that he's hunting for. We'll try and find a camera angle that suits it. Let's go camera. Probably a low camera angle. His feet are going to be in, I don't know, probably some like ferns or something. So we don't need to worry too much about that part. I'll make another window over here. Another window. Let's see. This will be outliner. This will be properties. Properties. This will be This is my camera. And this is where I'm actually moving stuff around. Turn all these extras off here. So I'm thinking about the echolocation thing. So Furious, if you're still there, does he like have to do like a call? Like is he like doing like a little click or something, and then he's like waiting for the echo to come back? Like is there any input or anything that the player has to do to get the ability to activate? Or is it just like automatic, like scanning sort of thing? Boot or something? Okay. That's gonna be pretty creepy, depending on how the sound is done. If it's like a low like owl sort of sound, it'd be pretty eerie. I don't want to see the gizmo in here. There we go. I just want to see the pose. Oh, nice. Okay, that's gonna be pretty cool. One thing, I don't know if anyone's interested in doing anything with dinosaurs, really, as far as posing goes. If you're drawing them, if you're painting them, if you're sculpting them, and you have a pose, don't forget the arms, don't forget the fingers. I see a lot of people, especially in 3D models, that they just leave the arms kind of dangling, like hanging down, like kind of like this. Animals are usually, especially if they have like, they're pretty protective of their their body, right? So like, I don't think a dino would just let their arms limply hang down as they're like walking or running through the environment. This is probably a note for animation too. Unless they're like actively trying to grab something or manipulate something with their arms, I feel like they would most likely be tucked and protected closer to the body. Also, just for like expression wise, like don't forget to do something with the hands, like grasp, you know, curl the fingers, adjust the pose somehow to give them life. Because yeah, I see this especially with raptors. I guess they have the most notable arms, but people just like leave them like default, like T-pose hands, like just straight. I feel like it makes them feel, I don't know, less alive. That's my opinion anyway. So we want him standing nice and tall. He's trying to get a good view. He's trying to like get his sound waves over the obstacles as much as he can. So he's standing nice and tall. And then we'll actually have to get him into frame. To adjust his tail so it's not clipping into the ground. Other thing, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's really interested in it, but I'm giving pose tips here. There is a bit of contrapposto that you can employ in dinos. So contrapposto is like it's something I've pulled from figure drawing. So it's like if you look at a lot of like, I guess like Renaissance, like you think of the statue of David, how his hips are like his weight is mostly on one hip and the other leg is more relaxed. You can do that with dinos too. So think about what leg is has the most weight on it. So this one was probably, I don't know, it can really be either of them. Maybe this front one. So this has more weight. It's going to be pushing up a little bit onto the hip, and this side is going to become more relaxed, and then the body adapts to that. So you can do a little bit of a swing or a little bit of a rotation in the, because the hips rotate, but the body, especially the head, wants to remain horizontal to the, it wants to remain parallel to the horizon line. So that's why you see your in a human figure, that's why you see the chest and the shoulders rotate the other way. Let me see if I can find a if I can find a good image. I have to think about my art history lessons. There we go. So weight is on this leg, so the hips angle up towards that side, and it's sloped this way. The relaxed leg is lower, but then the chest and shoulders do the opposite. So if this is angled down towards the right, this is going to be angled down towards the left. And then the head tries to maintain like level. So you can do that with dinos a bit. It's a little bit more restricted because of the way that their anatomy is, but you do get a bit of it. And it does help a lot. So like here, his body is sloping to the left, So I can rotate his chest a little bit to the right. And then his head would try to maintain level. Then once we get like a little bit of a rotation on the head, I feel like the pose starts to come together even more. Thing about him though, I want to make sure that the crest is visible if I can, because the most interesting viewpoint of him, I think, is always slightly side view, because you can see the shape of the crest on his head. Maybe we open the mouth a little bit because he's like calling. He's like doing his little hoots. I should get a plane in here just so I know where my ground is. Make sure his feet are planted, even though we're not gonna necessarily show his feet in the scene. Make sure they're planted on something so it feels like he's actually interacting with the ground plane. I probably break this. So what I'm also trying to do when I'm posing stuff is I'm trying to look for things that line up too conveniently. So you can see here, like I haven't really done anything, not too much with the spine and the tail, and see how that's almost perfectly straight. Trying to break that up more. The more like the more things, like the more you have those straight lines, the more the pose is going to just feel stiff and robotic, and we don't want that. So I try to break that up as much as possible. So I'm gonna do a nice curve on his tail. We'll make sure he's in frame again. Maybe we angle his head more. Yeah. And then what we'll do is, let's make sure, is this low enough of an angle? So we'll have, I don't know, maybe some grass or something here. This is all stuff that I'll have to sketch in. We'll have some like grass, or ferns or whatever it is. Do we have grass in the game? Like how strictly are we going with paleo flora? But it could be something. Maybe it's more like ferns or something, or there's like a log, and then maybe there's like a baby something hiding behind it, like around here or over here. I'm not sure what that could be. A baby or something small. Did we say baby Urano last time? That might work. So I think I do like this pose. Then we could have like little, you know, effects or whatever. Okay, sweet. Thank you, Furious. Yeah, I think I'll go ferns mostly. I like ferns. Ferns are some of my favorite plants, so I'll go with that for this. I think I'm good. Let me just save it and we'll render out. Let's see. Do we want to do some basic lighting? Just to see. I do not need... I don't need the pink. We'll add just the sun in here to get some basic lighting direction. This is always fun because it's like, I like seeing the shadow shapes change. Sometimes you can get some really interesting stuff. And this is all stuff you can incorporate into a painting or to a sketch, whatever it is. That's why I just feel like it's super, super valuable to know some 3D when you're a painter. Because you can get some really helpful references like this. Otherwise, I would just be making up shadow shapes, which is fine. But when you have a good model and a light source to play with, can't really beat it. So we can do something like this. Okay. So we'll go file, or actually go view. I'm not gonna do a real render. I'm just gonna render the viewport. So we don't need to do anything super fancy. And just for clarity, I'm gonna do just one of the regular viewport that's not shaded at all. I'll do that really quick and then I'll pop back over to Krita. Okay. Got Krita open, I think. Give me 1 second. Gotta navigate to all of this stuff. Okay. Hmm. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Heard it was being weird for a second, but we're good now. So now I'm gonna start sketching in all the other stuff that is not that we didn't have in the render, and then adding details and stuff on top of this so we can get the sketch going. So it takes a little bit of setup, but the cool thing about it is we'll be able to like save these poses. We'll be able to do alternate poses, other camera angles. It's just really useful. So I need some pretty high foliage. We're gonna start suggesting that stuff here. Sharky, what happened to the canvas? What do you mean? Like, why is it oh, sorry guys. Well, no. I thought I had my little like privacy screen on there. And I didn't take it off, but it should be off. Oh, my little scribbles. Yeah, that's my... Those are my... I'm trying to find the shapes. These are my little marks of uncertainty. That slowly evolve into some kind of plant. Yeah, maybe like a probably like a log or something right here. I don't want to get too elaborate with it because this is basically just going to go, it's going to be a vignette. So I don't need to like do a whole environment or anything. It's bushes, I didn't notice. Yeah, it's my sketches start out pretty rough. I wouldn't expect anybody to understand what's going on here just yet. It'll get there. Why did you switch to Krita? I feel like Krita has a really nice set of brushes. I feel like they feel really natural. They feel very realistic. So it's hard for me to decide between Krita and Clip Studio. I think right now Krita wins. I really like their the sketchy brushes here, like the pencils and stuff that I'm using right now. It feels just like visually, it feels more like a real pencil to me. I like the way it builds up the values. Like the way that I like to shade is it's very gradual. Like I tend to work back and forth into shapes a lot, and I like draw stuff in, I erase a lot. It's very exploratory, like the way I draw. So I really I want something to have, I want the tools I use to feel as close to how I normally sketch, like in real life, in my sketchbooks. And so far, I feel like Krita gets closest to that. Because I can do really subtle stuff, like I can build up these values like really subtly, and then I can like erase back into them the way I want to. Something about it just clicks. Yeah, I don't really like the way you're right, Kivarsha. I don't really like the way Photoshop works. Even though it was the first program that I learned how to draw and paint in. I feel like a lot of the drawing, the paint brushes that I have, at least, they feel kind of forced. Like they're trying to mimic real media, but they're just not quite there. There's always been that sort of awkwardness to it. I just feel like there's other programs like Krita, like Clip Studio, that just have better brush capabilities, I guess you would say. Then we'll have some sort of little guy hiding here. I have to remind myself what the baby Orano looks like. But we'll have a little guy hiding right here. Maybe a better interaction would be to curve his neck upward. So he's like looking back there. I might do that. That's probably a better idea, but just for placeholder. Gave up on drawing after a month of practicing circles. Yeah, those exercises, they're more for like muscle control, like keeping your making a good mind body connection between, you know, you and your arm, basically. Doing the ellipses and stuff. I would say if you're interested in drawing, those things are important, but just draw what you're interested in drawing, really. It'll be much more entertaining. You can always do little exercises like warm-ups before you draw, like maybe spend like 10-15 minutes doing warm-ups and then get some drawing in. But I can see getting tired of that very quickly if that's all you're doing. It depends on the style you're trying to go for too. Like if are you trying to go for like a super clean style where like you just make one mark and you're done, or are you fine with being a little bit messier, a little bit more sketchy? You know, sometimes those exercises will help you go one way or the other. I kind of go both. Like there's phases. I've had phases where I've done one way and done the other way. I lately I feel like I'm leaning more towards like very I like painterly stuff. I like sketchy stuff. I like seeing like all the random marks that people make and like the like kind of random brush strokes that happen. So the precision isn't really where I want to pursue, I guess. I think it's just because I've done so much of that in the past. Like trying to be really, really precise, trying to be really, really realistic or really, really tight with things. Nowadays, I'd like to be more loose with stuff. Loose but readable. This push back here is probably going to be mostly silhouette. It's not going to be very detailed at all. I'm trying to think about. So this is it's a vignette, so it's not like a full scene. So I'm trying to think of an interesting way to kind of like frame things. Like I'm thinking about in my mind, sort of invisibly, I'm thinking about the maximum background that I want and trying to make it into an interesting shape. Or maybe we don't even go as far as this. Like maybe it's just the dino and the ferns down here and the baby here. I'm trying to think about that sort of thing. I did that a lot with my Dinovember stuff. Just playing with different shapes of backgrounds. I think I could have probably pushed that idea more. I feel like if I ever revisit that sort of thing, I will definitely try to do that, but I'm kind of doing it here with these sketches, or that's the goal anyway. Let's get into. So now I got to make this blank model actually look like the concept that we were working on. The thing that can be hard about this sort of workflow when you have like a model that you're working on top of, either you're painting on top of or you're sketching it, it can be very difficult to keep the sketch actually looking fresh, because you can get very stiff. Like maybe some of you have experienced it where like you do like a sketch and then maybe you're trying to do inking or something on top of it. You go ahead and do your inks, and then for some reason the ink work doesn't really feel as good as the sketch did. Like it something about it got lost in translation, you know, like it for me I felt like just things got stiff. That's the way I would describe it. They lost their gesture, they lost their some of the life that was in it before from the looser sketch. And the reason that is, I think a lot of the time, is because people try to perfectly match the underlying sketch, or in this case it's a model. But the trick is actually not to try and match it 100%. It's just to kind of like, I'm not tracing, like I'm not trying to trace everything, every little detail, you know, like I'm kind of using it as a guideline. I'm redrawing it is what I'm trying to keep in my mind. I'm redrawing it. I'm not refining, or I'm not like what would be the word? Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. It's like redrawing, reimagining. And a lot of times it's better to, for me at least, it's better to leave, if I'm working from a model like this, it's better to leave it like pretty unfinished. That way I can add as much detail as I want in the sketch or in the drawing or the painting, and I don't feel like beholden to the model so much. Tends to work out better that way. And then we also have all the details that aren't in here, like still got to add all of the spines. All the spines need to go back in. All the wrinkles and stuff that I sketched in need to pop in here. The thing that I've thought of too is like it could be fun to try and make like a like some sort of stylized comic book. I know there are lots of comic book artists that use Blender to like block out scenes and stuff, and they do have comic book. I don't know exactly what they do. They can make it look like line art, basically. They're like renders. A lot of comic book artists will use them for like very complex architecture, and like there was one comic book artist that I saw. He was doing like a laboratory scene, and the characters were drawn mostly. I think he might have had like some like very, very basic base meshes with poses on them. But the majority of it was drawn over, like all the costuming and stuff. But then the rest of the background, which was really complex, it had like all kinds of machinery and computers and like wires and tiling and all kinds of stuff in this like laboratory scene. But all of that was mostly Blender stuff. He just had some sort of line art pass on it somehow. There's lots of crazy stuff you can do with Blender and shaders. I have not done a ton with that. I need to open up the concept art. And we'll have, I'll make it, I think the, his spines, like the little spikies, his quills, I'm not sure exactly what we're calling them, but they should be kind of flared out here because he's searching, he's like alerted, he's in the middle of a hunt. So maybe these like flare out when he's vocalizing and doing the echoes. The echolocating, I mean. Osaka, this is Dracovenator. It's a close relative. Has some similar traits to it, but it's a different species. The most notable thing about it is it's the crests are different. They have slightly smaller crests, more like low and more dramatically swept back. Dilophosaurus has bigger crests and they're like kind of boxy. Oh, thank you. It's a venom dinosaur. No, I don't think it's venom. I think he has different abilities. What I'm showing right here is the ability that it uses to echolocate. So it uses its, in the game at least, right? We have a little bit of a excuse me. We're taking some liberties here with abilities. But in the game, he's able to echolocate and use the crest to sense sound to detect hidden prey. So that's what I'm trying to convey with this sketch here. A bill, a bill of use. Yeah, that's a good term. So this might be a bit of a problem. I have to decide what to do with the tail, because this log here might be a bit of a tangent. I have to adjust it. Or we could just change the pose of the tail, do something else. Simple enough. That's another example of why it's kind of, I think it's important to be able to do a bit of both, because like we did spend that time to do the blockout pose in Blender, but just because we did it in Blender and we spent time doing it doesn't mean that it's going to work 100% in the scene, because I didn't really know what I was going to include in the scene just yet until I started working it up. So in this case, like if I did add this log here, right, and it was causing too much of an issue with the tail, you know, I feel like a lot of people would feel beholden to the model and what they did there, but in reality it might just be better just to, you know, not worry about it and just adjust it, like, you know. Just because we spent time doing the pose doesn't mean we have to be stuck with it. We can adapt. The other concept I'm thinking of is focal, like a focal radius. Excuse me. So you think of like focus in a drawing, like a bullseye. You're gonna usually have multiple targets. Of course, we have one here, and then we have this here. Usually you want to pick one over the other, have like a primary, secondary, but then what's also should be happening is like radius, like there's a radius around all of these. The closer into the radius I am, the more detail and stuff that I'm going to be putting. But slowly as I go outwards, that detail can sort of fall off. So you'll see, hopefully, that a lot of the stuff on this outer border here is going to stay sketchy. And then as we get closer and closer to these two areas, things are going to get clearer. Like I'm not gonna worry too much about what's going on with the tail. I might indicate some stuff here and there. Like there's some details that I need to add, like the little, like the quills. But the tail isn't gonna get like maxed out detail like the head would. I accidentally switched layers. There we go. It's actually a really nice day out today. I might try to get outside for once. We go for a walk. There's a nice long bike path near us. It goes through some pretty nice little forested areas and near there's a pond, or yeah, it's mostly a pond. It's kind of like a wetland area that it runs by. So sometimes you can see some pretty cool stuff there, like lots of different birds, frogs, some different species of lizard and turtles. On occasion, like I've seen, I'm not sure what they are. I think it's a blue heron. I've seen a couple of those, I think. Let me double check if I'm talking about the right bird. If they even live up here. Yeah, they're up here. I was worried that I was like wrongly I was naming the wrong bird. But yeah, I've seen a few blue heron. There's a white I can't remember. It's another type of heron. I think. But you can see them in the fields. They like to eat the frogs that are out in there. And I haven't seen any of them catch any fish, but I'm sure they like the fish out there as well. So it's fun to walk out there and be able to catch some glimpses of some cool birds. When I was growing up, in it's a small town that I grew up in. It's called Monte Vista, Colorado. But one really special thing about Monte Vista is that it's a stopping point for sandhill cranes in their migration. And I remember pretty vividly when I was growing up, people were very worried about the sandhill crane because it was endangered. There were very, very few of them. And you rarely saw any males. Males have their plumage is black and white, and they have a red spot on their forehead. So I remember going to take a look at the heron. I mean, not the herons, the cranes. We used to kind of just drive by the wildlife refuge and see if they had stopped by yet, and we did. We were able to see one, a male crane. I think, I'm not sure. I haven't checked in on them very much at all. I should see if they're at it. I think they're not endangered anymore. I think there was a big effort to help them out, and I think they're doing fine. But I'm not sure. Oh, gray herons. Okay, cool. Yeah, herons are fun to watch. I really like their silhouette next to like all the foliage and stuff. They're very graceful looking birds. The way their neck is shaped, the way they kind of carry themselves as they walk is really nice. It's interesting coming from Colorado to Oregon, just noticing like the different variety of birds that we have out here. Because we have, they're called scrub jays, but they're cool. I like them a lot. I guess people around here don't really like them. I think they kind of consider them kind of pests, I guess. I really like them because they look cool. They're blue, blue, black, and white. And I think we have a family, a pair or something must be out here because I see them all the time. They're always in our front yard. There must be somebody feeding them somewhere, because they get peanuts from someplace, and they come and bury them in my yard. And my my little dog, little boy, he used to dig them up. He would love to go outside to get into the front yard just so he could search for the peanuts that they buried. Yeah, I think that's what they're called, scrub jays. Yeah, these guys. I'll show you a picture. They're really pretty birds. I think they're really nice. I mean, it's much more exotic than I'm used to. Because in Colorado, you don't get any, you rarely get birds with a ton of color on them, especially not blue. And they're pretty big too. Yeah, that's what's usually running around the front yard. That's exotic. I mean, by my standards. I did not grow up with like in Colorado. Most of the birds are very small. They're usually like brown, white, black. So whenever I saw like any birds with like pretty vibrant color, it was a pretty interesting to me. It's just it's interesting like what people find normal, you know? Like my wife lived in New Zealand for a while. She studied abroad there, and they have these birds. I can't remember what they're called, but they I mean they definitely look pretty exotic. I mean to an American, I suppose. But people around there, like, I mean, that's just an everyday thing. They don't really mind, you know, they don't really acknowledge them too much. So it's just funny what you get used to, I guess. We have some pretty cool hummingbirds out here. I don't know what this exact species are. But I've seen them a few times. They're little green ones. Now I gotta see. Let's see. I think my wife was talking about. I'm trying to figure out the name. Takahe. They're like these birds. If it'll load. Will you load, please? Let's see if I can get an image. These guys. These are pretty cool too. I like the beaks. But she said she saw a lot of these walking around. Yeah, the Takahe. Yeah. Like if I saw one of those walking around, it would definitely get my attention, but like people really don't mind, you know, they don't acknowledge them very much. If you see it every day, I guess it's not very special, right? So I think in some areas of I mean Australia, they have cockatoos. They're very common. Or it's, yeah, that's, I've seen that word too. A pukeko or takehe. I don't know what the difference is or if they're similar. So maybe it is called a pukeko. Let's see. I'll just type it in. Okay, no. It does look similar. They do look very similar to each other because the pukeko is, it looks like it's a slightly different color, and they're a little bit more gracile, I think. The other ones look more heavily built. I don't know if you saw these guys. I don't know where they live. It says they're in New Zealand too, so maybe. Okay. So there's where we are for now. Got a lot to clarify down here, but I like the way the Draco is looking, and I do like how it's like, I like the silhouette down here and all that stuff. I think it's gonna be cool once I get it finished up. Then I have 2 more of these to do, and we have sketches to do for the other dinos as well, for the EO and for the Arano. That way I can help out Koga, sorry if I'm messing up her name, with the UI stuff. So I will be working on that. But anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out today. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, I'll see you on the next stream. Okay, talk to you soon. Are there more key arts for the dinosaur selector? Yes, I think. I'm not actually sure what they're going to be used for. But we'll see. Okay, see you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.